Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, I would like to bring in Charles Brensky from the he's the Jewish chaplain at the Coast Guard section. He's going to do our memorial prayer.
Blessed are you, O Lord of God, ruler of the universe, for giving us life, for sustaining us, and for enabling us to reach this day. O God, full of compassion, bring perfect rest beneath the covering of your presence to all who have bravely laid down their lives for our country. Shelter them among the holy and pure, who are as radiant as the luminous firmament. O source of compassion, bring them ever near to you, that their souls be bound up in the bond of eternal life, as our souls are the righteous, and the work of the righteous shall be peace, and the effect of righteousness, quietness, and confidence forever. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. Then the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. Amen. The memorial prayer for American servicemen.
Amen.
Amen. Please remain standing. At this point, I would like to introduce the Sergeant Mendez, the Detachment Marine Corps League, to come in and do a ceremonial rifle salute. Ready?
Aye, aye, sir. Aye, ready. On, arm. This step, move. Aim, fire. Aim, fire. Aim, fire. Three, cover. Order, arm. Cut. Left. Face.
Home.
Thank you so much, Jean. I'd like to begin by taking a moment to acknowledge our many esteemed guests and speakers who are here with us on this beautiful morning, including our great Staten Island Borough President, Vito Casella. We have State Senator Andrew Lanza with us this morning. State Assembly Member Michael Tanusis, Council Member David Carr, District Attorney Mike McMahon. We also are so pleased to have Tom Cooney, brother of Staff Sergeant James Cooney, as well as Bobby Tamburi, brother of Private First Class John Tamburi. I'd also like to acknowledge and thank our Marine Corps League Detachment 246, Vietnam Veterans of America Thomas J. Torrey, Chapter 421, Stephen Zadarico, Parks Chair for Community Board 2, and the many family members of Staff Sergeant Cooney and Private First Class Tamburi who are joining us today. I'd also like to recognize that we have Ed Jackson from the Bayers CAU and the Staten Island Borough Parade. Thank you all so much for being with us here this morning. I don't need to tell the people in this crowd but that parks help communities to thrive. They are places we come to exercise, to play, and to connect with one another. They are also places where we come to reflect, to honor those who came before us, and to be inspired. Private First Class John Tamburi and Staff Sergeant James Cooney both grew up not far from here at the nearby Berry houses in Dungan Hills. I'd like to think that coming here to General MacArthur Park helped to develop their strength of character, which would one day lead them on a path of service. They were true heroes who made the ultimate sacrifice during the Vietnam War and were awarded with Purple Hearts in recognition. And we are all forever grateful for their bravery and dedication to their country. By naming these ball fields in their honor, a piece of who they were and what they represented will remain here forever. I want to thank Staten Island Borough President Vito Fasella, Council Member David Carr, Community Board 2, and the families of SSGT Cooney and PFC Tamburi for your overwhelming support and advocacy for this naming. Today, as we unveil the new park sign, we are so very proud to celebrate their legacies and love for their community. Before we move on to our speakers, I'd like to give a big shout out to our Staten Island Borough Parks Commissioner, Linda Riccadone, and her entire team who's here with us today for their tireless work to make this renaming an event a reality, and also for their tireless work on behalf of parks and open spaces in Staten Island.
Thank you very much, Commissioner and Linda. Thanks for bringing us together. Good morning, everyone. Another beautiful day on Staten Island, Commissioner, and every time you come here, it's a great day. Maybe it's a way of understanding that both Mr. Tamburi and Mr. Cooney are in the palm of God's hands right now, and he's sending us a signal that they're okay. There's a bunch of speakers, so I'll just keep it brief. My daughter's going to be 19 in a few days, and my good friend and colleague Billy Beal gave me information about Mr. Cooney and Mr. Tamburi, and I thought John Tamburi was 19 when he died, and my little baby's going to be 19 in a few days, and it crystallizes what these sacrifices really were all about. Recently, there was a doctor, Dr. Ronald Glasser, wrote a book, 365 Days. He was a pediatrician who served in Japan during Vietnam. And he was sent over to treat the children of high government officials and officers' children. But instead, the hospital that he worked at saw about 6,000 to 8,000 casualties a month. And he wrote the book based on the experiences and the truth of the suffering of the soldiers, the airmen, the Marines, Coast Guard, sailors that he treated. And it sort of reminds us of where we are here on Staten Island, a kid who grew up on Seaside Boulevard. And when I was 11 years old, the street was changed to Father Vincent Capodanno Boulevard. So we come here united and together, I hope and pray, and of all places, General MacArthur Park, another American hero. And we stand in the shadow of the Berry homes, actually named after Brigadier General Charles Berry, who served in World War I. And if you remember MacArthur's favorite, or famous, remarks when he left the Philippines, he said he shall return. And he did return. And he said, I have returned. And perhaps in a spiritual, emotional sort of way, Mr. Tambori and Mr. Cooney have returned here to the Berry homes. And Commissioner, I know we all take great pride. Linda does a great job as the Borough Parks Commissioner. We call ourselves the Borough of Parks. But if you look at the lineage of Charles Berry, General Douglas MacArthur, Mr. Cooney, Mr. Tambori, the one common denominator, I want to thank Chapter 421 of the Marine Corps Detachment for being here today. The one common denominator of all those individuals were willing to sacrifice, and some did, for not only us, but for people they didn't even know. So while we may be known as the Borough of Parks, today and every day we're known as the Borough of Heroes.
Now my pleasure to bring up our local council member, David Park.
Mantra, that motto. And they were the sons of heroes too. They were the sons of two World War II veterans who served in different theaters, and that's what actually entitled them to be in the Berry homes. When public housing was first conceived, it was with a 1/3 set aside for veteran families. And so it was their father's service that brought them to this place to grow up and to call home, and to this field where they surely spent much of their youth. And it is their service which brings us back to this place and brings it full circle as we remember their contributions to our country and to our country.
Thank you, Commissioner Donahue, Commissioner Linda. We love our Parks Department, and we are so grateful to both of you and to the department for what you do for us around the city, but especially here on Staten Island. And this is one of those great things that you do. And I cannot express to you how important. You know, we're here for a ceremony and it's a renaming, and you have all the pomp and circumstances, but at a very basic level, this is so important to the very fabric of our lives. It's very important to what we stand for and to who we are. So again, I want to thank you. And I want to especially thank Councilman Carr and Borough President Vito Fasella for really doing the groundwork for mobilizing and making sure that we can come together today for this very auspicious occasion. So I thank you all. You know, this is, to my way of thinking, both this place and this time is so fitting and appropriate. We stand on the eve of an anniversary of 9/11, when the very freedom we cherish came under attack some 20 years ago. And we saw how we as Americans, we as Staten Islanders, we as New Yorkers rallied together. And I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you to the many firefighters and police officers who are here today. We too cherish your sacrifices every day for making New York City, New York State livable. And they don't fight for the dirt under our feet. They don't fight to keep a certain territory. You know, soldiers all over the world, in every country, good and bad, they fight to do that for their nations, to fight for the dirt, to fight
for territory. Our soldiers, and I look out at all of you, and Giacomo, thank you for what you do, and the Vietnam veterans here on Staten Island. They fight for an idea. Our soldiers fight for something that is bigger than the dirt under our feet, bigger than any place. They fight for freedom. That's, after all, what America is all about. That's what Staff Sergeant Cooney and PFC Tambori fought for, stood for, and sacrificed for. They represented, and their sacrifice continues to represent the best of what America is. And so why do I think this place, it's a park? Why is this so appropriate and fitting? You know, my son is 18, he's not 19, we just tucked him away at college, but he just finished a career playing baseball in high school here on Staten Island, and a number of those games, when we played my alma mater, Vila's alma mater, my man's alma mater, Tanusa's alma mater, I think everyone here's alma mater, Monsignor Farrell, they played here. And isn't that what it's all about? Isn't that what Staff Sergeant Cooney and PFC Tambori fought for? The freedom to pursue happiness?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Commissioner. Always great to have you here on Staten Island. You know, it's known, or the saying goes, that we are the land of the free and the home of the brave. But in actuality, as we all know, we are the land of the free because of the brave. So that makes it extra special to be here today to honor these two individuals that gave their life for our freedoms. And we're an island of about 498,000 people. And we're an island full of people that have committed themselves to public service, whether it's serving in the military, serving in the police department, serving in the fire department, serving our city, our state, our local community. And that's what makes Staten Island so special, because we have people here that care about their community and about their neighbors. And that's what makes me proud to be a Staten Islander today and every day. So thank you so much for having me here today. God bless these two individuals, God bless their families, and God bless America.
Commissioner, you elevate me. Hello, everybody. The benefit of being, I think, the last elected official speaker is that my colleagues in government have said so well and so eloquently what today is about on a very high and serious level. We honor, as the patriotic place Staten Island is, the sacrifice of so many generation after generation from Staten Islanders who heard that call and answered that call and gave their service to the uniform of our government, our national government, and the armed services. And also the sacrifices made by our firefighters and police officers and all those who put on the uniform, our emergency responders. And it's so poignant as we come upon the 21st anniversary of 9/11. But what I want to talk about is the neighborhood and family aspect of today's proceedings. As Jay Price, the former Advance reporter and now author, so eloquently point out, this is about a neighborhood. Two boys from a neighborhood that was as tightly knit as any neighborhood could be in any place in the world, and that is these Berries. And all those who grew up here as family, look around, there's so many, I'm not going to say any names except for one family because I'll get in trouble. But when the idea was formed by the O'Leary brothers to dedicate this field, and others with them, to dedicate this field to John Tambori and James Cooney, they moved forward, and they did it because this was a neighborhood that was so tightly knit.
It is my great pleasure to bring up to the podium Tom Cooney, brother of SSGT Cooney.
Good morning, everyone. As introduced, I'm Tom Cooney, and I'm here today with my brother Bill and my sister Kathleen. And we're here to honor our brother Jimmy. Thank you to the distinguished guests and others for your actions and words for naming the Berry Hall Fields for the staff, Sergeant James Cooney and PFC John Tambori Hall Field.
Well, I'm not going to thank everybody because it would be quite some time up here to do that. Starting with Pat O'Leary, my old neighbor from 30 Diamond Hills Avenue, and many others. It was the 1960s and 70s when we lived in the Berry houses. It was a little bit unusual compared to if you lived outside the projects. We were a little bit unique, us Berry boys and gals. We went to school together, played together. As Mike McMahon mentioned, sometimes we fought together. But we kind of had each other's back from the outside world. It was kind of like that. Because it didn't make a difference what color you were, what religion you were. You were a Berry boy. We kind of looked out for each other. So it's really no wonder that over 50 years later, my old neighbors and friends, the Cooney's old neighbors and friends, did this today, made this happen today. They cared enough from over 50 years ago to remember my brother John and to remember Jimmy Cooney and the sacrifice they gave for us. It was Jesus Christ who said, there's no greater love than to give your life for a friend. And how true is that? I hope that there's a legacy that the Berry boys and gals that are in this generation can maybe share in that togetherness in that neighborhood. It's really not a bad way to go. It's no wonder that this was done for us today, as it's common knowledge that us Berry boys, to this day, we still get together every so often. We just hang out together. We go to Lee's for beer and pizza, just like we always did. So it's a really good day for us. And God bless you.
Yeah, absolutely. Tom and John Tambori and Kim.
What? Oh, I'm sorry.
On the count of, we're all set?
Wait. We just have a couple more people. The crowd's got to lead us on. The crowd's got to lead us on. So the crowds, we're going to, and when at my cue, we're going to say 1, 2, 3. Okay, ready? Ready? Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Everybody look at the call.
Look this way, please.